And everything's working. Hello! Welcome back, those of you that are joining us again, and welcome in those of you that are new here. Tonight, got a couple 4 announcement things to go through. Actually typed everything out this time. Preparation. Tonight's giveaway will be the Ruby Glitter Gold Dice from our friends at Tabletop Game and Hobby in Overland Park, Kansas. And as I had said last week, since we didn't do a dice giveaway or anything along those lines, that we would kind of double down a little bit. We're also going to include the winner's choice of either the 3/4 sleeve shirt or the short sleeve t-shirt, like what I have on currently, in the winner's choice of colors and configurations on that. So at our roughly like halfway point tonight, we will have a keyword for you guys to enter into the chat, and then you'll have an opportunity to win that. If you have won within the last month, you're not eligible, unfortunately. And the giveaway is for United States and Canada at this point, because we were able to kind of extend a little bit more to North America overall. So that is good. A little bit of news there that I actually didn't put in the notes, but just remembered as I talked. So there we go. Speaking of the items that we sell, if you haven't seen it yet, we have multiple sets of dice and a few accessories listed on shop.rolethis.com alongside of the official RoleThis merch. Then Saruman's One Shot, A Simple Favor, was supposed to be uploaded last Wednesday, but will instead get posted this Wednesday. It's currently available for anyone in the Twitch VOD section though. Under videos, like if you're on desktop, there's a tab up here. If you're on mobile, there's a tab down here. You can tap on either one of those and watch that after this episode. Along with that, I completely forgot until about 2 hours ago that I never uploaded episode 12 of our main campaign to YouTube. So that'll also show up soon. I'm going to work on that right after we end tonight. After we cut tonight's episode, then I will get that sorted, posted. So theoretically, it'll be tomorrow, maybe also on Wednesday. Maybe on Thursday. We'll see what happens. The being 3 hours long, I think that one was, it takes quite a bit of time for it to actually process, and then it takes a bit of time for it to upload. So it could be as late as Thursday, but it will be up this week 100%. And then this episode will be up on Friday at 11 a.m. as it's supposed to. So with that, which happened far faster than I expected it to. I thought the intro was going to take, the announcements were going to take much longer. Also, those red dice, they're the same ones that are in our screen whenever the stream is offline. So if you're looking for a reference on that, or if you want to go check out the post that I did on our Instagram page, it is just at RoleThis, and it'll be the red dice. I think they're the only red ones that are on there. So, but with that, let's get into tonight's episode of RoleThis. So, recapping back a few episodes, our band of adventurers found themselves in an underdark drow city. Bryn and Kael had been captured and imprisoned alongside Bryn's mentor, Halfgrin, who has also ventured into the mountains in the attempt to find the source of the spreading corruption, which is what drew our party in as well. After escaping the prison and picking up a new companion in the form of a goblin named Coral, Kael and Bryn stumbled into the throne room and were greeted inquisitively by the queen herself, while Maze sat at her side. After a brief moment of interactions, a battle ensued, with the queen revealing herself to be one of the lesser dragons committed to the darkness of the world. Lashing out as her guards fell, she incinerated and nearly devoured Maze, tossing her dying body to the foot of the throne dais as Kael struck her with his gleaming greatsword, severing her head and ending her evil reign. As Maze lay at the base of the throne in this evil city, she clutched onto the leaf that Morelia had given her before they departed from Feldar. The leaf began to glow with a magical energy, erupting into flames of deep purple. As the flames died down, Maze was gone, and only a small but rapidly growing tree was left in her place, mirroring the one that the leaf had come from originally. Maze was transported to another dimension, a place of great beauty and unnatural colors, with vibrant waterfalls and multicolored plant life. In the center of the space, a massive black tree, covered in the same leaves as the one Maze had carried from Morelia's, was growing. As Maze approached, a familiar soft voice greeted her, the voice of Lemore, her friend in his white raven form, pointing out that the gift that Morelia had given her pointing out the gift that Morelli had given her and opening a portal within the tree. Kael and Bryn were left in the throne room with Coral and Halfgren as guards, and the court sorcerer burst in to avenge their fallen queen. In the last moment, Halfgren was able to open a portal within the tree that had grown in the throne room that was just large enough in size for each of them to pass through. Appearing safely back into the woods, Kael, Bryn, Halfgren, and Coral began journeying back to the clearing where Bryn and Halfgren live. On their path, they were assailed by a pack of death dogs led by a shadow demon. After a bloody battle with Coral slaying 2 of the death dogs and the others being dispatched by Bryn and Kael, they continued on to Bryn's home. As Kael was preparing to head out, Bryn came up and offered him an amulet made of wood, and as Kael put it on, it fused together with Kael's original metal amulet. Bryn then shared that he would not be continuing with the party due to his commitment to the shifting forest and a need to begin the healing process of the region alongside his mentor Halfgren. As Kael was prepping to head out, or as Kael then prepped to head out, he extended the offer to Coral to become his squire. She gladly accepted, and they began making their way back towards Feldar by the advice of Halfgren. And that's where we pick up now.
I also have the dragon's head, right?
You do.
Right.
It's strapped to your back.
Excellent.
Coral kind of is like climbing around it, hanging from one of the horns, just swinging back and forth, and then getting bored and climbing back up. So, yep. You have a very slowly decaying dragon's head on your back, as it has not been preserved in any format. Just so you're aware.
It's got scale. It's fine.
Yeah. It's incense. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's like clouding my vision here. So anyways.
Blame the incense stick.
Are you, in fact, going to be traveling back to Feldar as Halfgren had advised and encouraged you to?
It makes sense to me.
Okay. So you will be, it's roughly a 3-day journey by foot. You are aware of the path because they've given you a map that makes life easier for you. To start with, we'll just do, for the full day, roll a perception check just to get things started here. See if you happen to notice anything along your way.
Would convincing like a stag or something to allow me to ride it count as a small favor?
If you can find one.
Okay.
Sounds like a challenge.
Is it
just regular perception? Yep.
All right, 11.
11. So as you journey on through the first day, you don't, in fact, really see much in the way of any larger animals. You briefly hear something off in the distance, and as you look, you think you catch the tail end of something moving off, but you don't really confirm anything. See a couple squirrels and birds and such. The forest seems to be much calmer than it was when you guys initially entered into it. Coral's still comfortably riding along. About halfway through the day, she climbs back down into your the tabards above your belt, lays in there like it's a hammock, and you hear this
Snoring.
kind of this growling snore come from her. And you kind of just journey along, continuing through the forest. Are you going to push in through the night or make camp as you go each time?
I think I'll make camp as I go.
Okay.
Still not safe to just be wandering around in the woods, even though I have a map. I don't know the woods.
Yep, perfect. So go ahead and roll a perception for your nighttime adventures. You'll kind of go back and forth. I'll roll one for Coral as well, and it'll be kind of a half and half deal.
It'll be a 13 this time.
Okay, 13. You do notice a coyote kind of comes up and is at the edge of your fire for a moment, kind of sniffing around, curious, but then seeing you, it kind of ducks back into the shadows and moves on. Rest of the night without issue. Owls in the forest, so on and so forth.
Perfect. Long rest?
Yep. And you do become fully rested. And actually, I need to open up Coral's stats as well, just in case we need her again.
Right.
throughout the next day, we'll say that you've actually made really good time in this moment, and you do in fact see a large stag of some kind. It's more of like a moose come down in this kind of cooler region near the mountains. Kind of an elk, elk is what I meant. And you do see one, and it kind of inquisitively like looks up as it's drinking from the small stream that you're kind of following, looks directly at you. And
I can speak to animals.
Perfect. What shall you say to it?
Hey there, friend. You hungry?
Kind of cautiously looking at you, curious that it's able to understand you.
Do you like dried berries?
It kind of comes up slowly, looking at you.
Can I ask you a favor?
Doesn't really respond in any way, just kind of slowly comes towards you.
Okay.
And it kind of stands up really tall, and its head is actually like above your head. This thing is massive.
Wow. Right.
So its horns lay out in probably almost a 10-foot span. This thing is, you've never seen anything as large as this before.
Can I ask you a favor? I'll give you all the dried berries if you give me and my friend here a lift.
Kind of glances about, and Coral like pokes her head around.
Just no, it's okay. Just to the edge of the forest. You don't have to go anywhere near people, anything like that. Just need to get through.
And it kind of lowers down.
And I just kind of try to bear back in.
And it immediately just like launches up into the air, and
Hold
you're
on,
kind of
Coral.
like, whoa! Coral's like, ah! Grabs back onto you, and then
Right.
you're just bursting through these woods now. This large beast at times does have to slow itself because its antlers are so massive that it can't quite get through some of these spaces without coming to like a slow speed. Yeah.
Right.
You're just holding on for the ride. Do a strength check for me real quick. 15. Okay. There is a moment where there's like a ravine in front of you, and it bursts through the bushes, kind of clears for a moment. You see it, and you're like, oh, and you grab on a little tighter as he completely clears this 15-foot wide ravine that you're otherwise unaware of how you would have even crossed if you hadn't found this companion. And he just continues on, eventually bringing you to the end of the forest. Near where the trees begin to thin, you can hear the river in the distance. You feel like you're probably a little bit north of where Feldar actually is, and you are on the eastern side of the river, and Feldar is on the western side.
Okay, but I feel like I definitely saved some time.
Significant. You cut a full day's worth of time out.
Good.
Because you were able to actually
By the
ride through.
afternoon or the evening, I'll actually be up on the
So you're on
gates.
the edge right now of the forest, as kind of the deeper night sets in, because you ran, like he ran on into the night with you,
Okay.
kind of just giving you this extra time.
Good.
So, you give him his berries and
Yep.
chews through them.
I actually as he comes to a stop, I'm picking through all of my rations to get all my berries, and I just kind of
Takes
prop them
one
up, and
kind
I
of
just
big mouthful of
take
them.
a little bit of burlap, and I just put all the berries on the burlap, and I leave.
Perfect. So you head on, and make a perception check for me, just in this area 1.
6.
You glance back, and you're really confused for a moment because the elk type creature that you'd been riding on, you don't see it, but you still see the antlers, but the form is kind of shifted and it's thinner, somewhat humanoid, but you only glance a quick second of it and you're like, what? It looked, instead of a quadrupedal type of individual with fur, it looked like a bipedal type of individual with some kind of long dark brown type of like overcoat on, just vanishing into the trees rapidly. And and you're just kind of like, what's that? Kind of not sure if you actually saw it or not. And Coral is just back to sleep again in your, with the two, in your kind of her hammock that she has made within your clothing. Maze, as Kael continues to travel on, we'll come back to you.
Okay.
So you are now in this space, this beautiful world that is full of these purples and pinks in the sky with almost an ever-setting sunset, it seems like. Waterfalls falling down with this bright aqua-colored water. A stream kind of flowing behind, and in front of you is the tree. Lamore still sits upon the branch, and there is now a portal opened in front of you. However, you don't see where it goes. All you can see is this kind of pinkish, purplish shimmer and glitter across it, but you know that it is some form of arcane transportation, similar to what you had gone through when you guys left Morelia's into Halfgren's home. But you remember that when that happened, you were able to actually see your destination through there. This time you're not able to see it. So you're not free to do what you will, whether it be to adventure around this place, completely ignore everything, go directly through the portal, or continue conversing with Lamore.
Maze, look up at Lamore. Is this it? Is this me getting kicked out of this beautiful place?
You still have a lot to do, child.
You know this changed me.
You do. However, remember, while we go through changes in life, it doesn't have to impact us forever. You can re-find yourself as you continue on. I will still always be with you.
That helps. And Maze will just kind of hold her nose and then jump right through because she's just weird like that.
Yep. So the same vision that you had seen as you came to this space of being suddenly in a star field as it shoots and rockets past you, nebulas spinning and swirling. You're like very dizzied by the whole scenario, and then suddenly roll a dex save for me.
Okay. Oh gosh. Nope, that was a 2. Right off the bat.
Perfect.
Yes,
That's kind of what I was going
3.
for because I already made the motion.
Okay.
You find yourself face down in somewhat wet grass, like dew-soaked grass. You glance up and you're beside a river. It's to your left. Mountains are behind you, and there's fog coming off as sunlight slowly begins to rise off to your left.
Do I recognize this place at all?
Where are you from? Which direction you came? No.
Okay.
You don't even have to roll for that one.
Yeah, I was just saying probably
never ever
not.
been here.
Never been.
You do get some sense of familiarity based on the mountain range. You'd seen these kind of peaks from a distance. You're closer to them now than you had seen them previously, but you do kind of recognize that they are north of Feldar.
Okay. Maze will look around. Oh crap! I gotta go get them out of prison. She has no idea.
Mm-hmm.
God, I owe them big time. Although I don't. Wow, this is weird. Okay, so it's fighting dragon, chomp chomp. Crap. And she's just sitting there. She doesn't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Check and let's see. Roll a d20. That's
Okay.
one of my random things I'm making up.
Man,
Also,
this dice is...
reset your
oh yeah, I didn't do
thing
that
if you
yet.
haven't done that yet.
I have not.
Long
Yeah,
rest.
yeah. Take a like super long rest because you
All that
were,
rest, man.
in essence, you feel as you come back here, you were only in this space for moments. You were there for
Incorporating.
5 minutes maximum in this whole time frame, but you've come back and you get this sense that it's been days that you've been gone. The world seems different. Something in your senses just seems different. What'd you end up rolling?
5.
5.
Yeah.
You check around, kind of looking for your items. You don't find the leaf anymore that you had gotten from Morelia. That was the main point.
Yeah, because that was the last thing I remember. It's like,
Yep.
well, crap.
Phoenix down.
That's true. Would I have a sense that possibly seasons change? Is that how she kind of knows? Or just like, this isn't right?
You can kind of sense that it is a little bit warmer. The sun kind of seems to be in a different position angle-wise as well, because you are in the moment of spring and summer kind of coming together where the sun is rapidly moving northward. So you can see that it is a little farther northward at this hour than it would have been previously. As someone who has traveled the world pretty much and at this time, even at such a young age, you've known that that's how you can kind of tell the difference between days and time and such.
Okay. Well, I just remember this city being near the mountains, so Maze will head towards the mountains. Essentially.
Your memory of them is that you are between the mountains and Feldar would be to your south, if that's where you're intending to go.
Okay. Well, wherever they were last at, that would be like the only thing that she knows.
So last at would be, you don't see the spot where you guys came into the mountain. You're one too far to the south to notice that, and also these peaks here are a little bit shorter than where that was. That was more central.
Okay, so
and you
pretty
can't
much this is a
actually
whole
see
new
it.
area.
Yeah, this is like a whole new area. You do remember that there was a road north of Feldar that led to one of the Dwarven kingdoms that is directly northward, kind of there, like the Dwarven port city, basically, where the ships would kind of dock out right before leaving the actual mountain ranges. And then south would be where Feldar is. And you kind of hear this. Actually, make a perception check.
Oh, man. Where's the other one? I've been rolling just
Can't
single
give you
digits with
everything.
that one. Never mind. That is a 1.
Okay,
That
so all you really hear
Not here today.
is the of the stream beside you a little from the wind above. And you see that the stream is flowing southwards.
Okay. Well, when in doubt, nowhere to go. Might as well go back home like every teenager. So I will just kind of eeny, meeny, miny, mo's and goes north. Like kind of like, okay.
Perfect. Following the river?
That way, yeah.
So just following the river northward.
Walking along the river.
Okay, perfect. And Kael heading southwards, but being conveniently south of where she was already, you are continuing on through this day. About midday, you actually make it right to where you can see Feldar across the way. There is there's like a ferry type situation there to go from one side of the river to the other. So you have the ability to cross at that point if you would like to. As you kind of approach, there's a young man, kind of maybe in his 20s, early 20s, like just hit 20 kind of thing. He kind of is just sitting there eating some bread, just looking out at the water, and he hears you approach, like, welcome.
Hail.
What brings you from the forest, friend?
You wouldn't believe me if I told you. But can I get passage for 2?
For 2?
Right, me and my friend here. I just turn and you see the dragon.
And Coral kind of pops out of the dragon's mouth, and he's like, oh my goodness. Dragon that slays dragons. Interesting. Very interesting.
Dragonborn. This is not... That's racist, okay? And I demand free toll.
Well, conveniently, it's always free for anyone venturing in from the east. So
Exactly.
Here, hop aboard, and I will we'll set things off.
Wait, it's not free from people going to the west?
Gotta make something for this.
I guess.
Nobody really travels from the east to the west. Everyone leaves from the west to the east here. This is not a very common space to be. And you look about, and the woods are just like
I'm just
like a wall, basically, in front of you. So
I guess you're right.
Most people don't seem to make it through the woods at this point. So it's kind of like oh wow, you made it. We're going to reward you a welcome into town kind of scenario.
Yeah.
So you are ferried across. You notice that Captain Rugrak's ship has left. It is no longer currently docked there.
He said he was like, we're leaving now.
Yeah. So
and it's been days.
right, and
got that ship
after
to
his ship leaving, there are no other ships that are conveniently. It would be convenient if they were docked there, but no other ships are docked there. The remains of the battle that you had taken place there have been all cleaned away, except for the ship itself. It's a bit of a hassle.
You're gonna have to salvage it and
Yeah, so you do see there are some people kind of working on it,
prying up boards.
prying stuff away, trying to situate it and figure out a method for getting it maybe back into the water, like repairing the hull and kind of getting it back, but they're just not quite sure how to accomplish it. You walk past that and through the warehouse district. The gates at this portion are now opened, as you would hope that they would be.
Change.
Yeah.
I know how to throw this head.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You do, though, see two well-armored guards that roll a
Knowledge
wisdom, knowledge, something to make you remember whether or not you know these vestiges.
It'd be knowledge history.
Knowledge, yeah.
19.
19. So these are, in fact, the reinforcements from Edgewater.
Right.
You recognize the kind of flowing, cresting wave that is their like symbol.
Okay.
And they have like this dark blue and silver kind of
Do I know any
remnant on them.
like colloquial greeting from Edgewater?
You rolled a 19 already. Was that a 19 on the roll or a 19 after your bonuses?
After bonuses.
Roll one more time.
16.
16. Sort of. Kind of a muddled variant of like just some form of seaward greeting. Like may the wind be in your sails or something along those lines that you could just kind of on the fly come up with as you see fit.
Right. Wind's in your sails, boys.
Indeed. What brings you in here?
Oh.
Oh. Well, I have to say, that's an unusual sight indeed.
Right. Look at the nose.
What the? And he kind of reaches for his sword, but he doesn't like pull it out. He's just like startled,
Excuse me.
but like kind of amused. The other guy, a little bit older, is kind of just like.
She's with me.
And he's like, well, this is absolutely going to have to go to the mayor.
That's where I was planning on going.
Okay, good. Sharon? And you see another guard come around the way, again wide-eyed at what you're carrying. Yes, we'll need you to escort this one to the mayor, please. Absolutely. Come with me, sir. And he leads you through the town. You notice there are a fair number of these guards actually there. It looks like about 100 of them have been sent up. Very significant presence. You see them stationed kind of all around alongside the probably 15 towns guard that were left after everything had kind of gone down. And so this is a very well bolstered military fort, again, as it once was way back in history. The gates, however, are all opened. As you come through to the kind of T where the tree is, you do see that to the left the gates are open, and to the right the gates are open heading north as well. Kind of come up to the entrance door. That's what those are.
Yep.
To the door of the mayor's house, and immediately the guard standing there, seeing you being escorted up. Again, you've heard murmurs and whispers as you walked through, carrying a dragon's head the size of your torso, strapped to your back, with a goblin periodically poking out of it and startling people because she's finding it incredibly amusing.
I mean, so much.
It's like a little Jack in the Box.
And the guard's in front of you, so he's not actually noticing any of this. Conveniently, he's not actually noticing any of it in any capacity. They do immediately open the doors, and you see the small squire that is normally right there by the door. And he runs off, sprints away, and just bursts through the door. Sir! Sir! He's like running, yelling ahead of himself.
Yeah.
The dragon's back! And then the doors slowly shut behind you, and you see the guy that walked you in just kind of like, this one.
There's a dragon on my back.
Well, some of one. The mayor does then walk out, and you don't see the young man come back as with him. He is not returning to this space. The mayor does walk out by himself, though. Oh, you've returned. Well, this is a welcome sight, seeing that you have slain some form of beast. May the
coral hop out.
She pulls the knife out.
Friends,
And then-
coral, friends.
As she climbs back up, as she looks at the guard that's like, way taller than her. She was making a point, and then now she's back on your shoulders, kind of like nervous, but contained.
Do you mind guarding the door for us, Coral?
She jumps off and runs back to the door and kind of slinks off into the shadows to the left of it. You can kind of see her eyes just glowing over there. She's
There we go.
staring right at the door. Hands up, though. No knives in her hands, just like...
Oh, I just picture her with a nail file.
No, just-
Yeah.
That's her weapon.
Like, I've got them strapped now like a backpack, so I'm just... just heft it up.
Where on earth did you find this?
It's not on Earth, it's under. We're under Earth, and it was quite dark.
The dwarves?
No, Drow.
What's this? Oh. Drow.
Drow. This was the queen, apparently.
He kind of looks a little closer at it, almost as if he thinks he's going to recognize it or something. And he's just like, my. Well, this is surprising. What you said, Drow? The only Drow I'm familiar with is our mutual friend, of course. He's not been by for some time. This can't possibly be his people, is it?
I don't know if it's his people in that same way, but it's definitely people of the same race.
Yeah. Edgar, come here. Bring that map. Come on. Yeah, get over here. And you see this kind of old man kind of grumbling. He's carrying this like framed map. Like he just took off the wall. He throws it down on the table. There, and he walks off. And do you? Can you show me here? Here's where we are, and he points to where Feldar specifically is. Where specifically? Do you know the region, the area in which you traveled to come into this place? We definitely would want to report this.
No.
No.
I was poisoned, paralyzed, drugged, stabbed in the heart, and teleported there. Maybe not in that order, it's all fuzzy.
This is impossible.
And then I woke up in prison, broke out of prison, attacked the queen, which ended up being a dragon, beheaded the dragon, and then took a teleporter back out.
What on earth? This... If you were anyone other than a blade, I would not believe this story.
Right, I wouldn't believe it either if it didn't happen to me.
This is absolutely
Not sure it
absurd. Well, I mean, this is fairly significant proof here, I would say. But I truly don't know.
My best guess is probably under some mountains.
Of course, and it wouldn't be the dwarven side. They are
No.
well protected there. it is unheard of. Though I do, obviously, with what has happened at our docks, the dwarves have they've had their fair share of incursions and difficulties. That is to be certain. But I'm just kind of startled by this. Obviously, it was to the east. This.
I did come back a slightly different route than I took there, but I think that could have just been me being turned around at night. And also riding on an elk.
Oh, what?
An elk.
You've got. Jesus. Edgar, get us some brandy. Bring it, please, quickly. And Edgar again, the old man, just a couple minutes pass and he prances back with these two the glasses as opposed to the wood carved ones you're typical to seeing. They have kind of this brass base to them, and then there's a matching decanter type situation. He pours two, sets it down. Roll a perception check.
12.
As he walks away, you kind of look at him almost in like this, not pity necessarily, but kind of like I'm sorry for this guy, the way this person's treating him. And you look back and he kind of
Just takes a glug.
glancing out of his eyes, just takes this big swig and just not even a reaction, just
So I see
downs
that,
it.
like I'm watching the mayor, and then I watch him walk away, and I see that other side of my eye, and I just go.
Silence, look back. Perfect.
Okay.
Well, okay. Now that this has been settled, by all means, help yourself. So what is your aim with bringing this to me? Just as a warning, or as?
Well, just to show what's possibly near your domain, what kind of trouble this world's in.
Thankfully, now that the Edgewater God has arrived, we are much safer here now, and
Could you dispatch word to Edgewater?
Absolutely. What word and to whom?
This word to whoever's in charge.
Okay, perfect. Yes. Yeah, we'll send a messenger right away. Edgar!
Don't think he'd be a good messenger.
I heard him already. Send him now. Send the boy. Hey, boy! Get in here! What? What? No. And he was like clearly kind of close. And he was kind of actually close by.
Boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
You've heard everything. I know where you hide when they're speaking. Get a horse and go to Edgewater. Tell them what's happened here. Yeah. They'll believe you. You've got the crest, right? Right? It's in my room. I will go and get it. I'm fine. And he just sprints off. You hear him kind of actually leave this time and up the stairs, and then you hear like a door and just scattering of nonsense.
Right.
You hear kind of Edgar kind of laugh a little and then refrain.
You have the crest, don't you?
Maybe. And then, so, is there anything else we can do for you, Blade?
Well, I just figured I'd let those who are in charge of the municipality know.
We appreciate it greatly.
But as far as the cosmic battle, I don't know if there's much more that you can do.
Of course. Will you be taking this with you?
Yes.
Perfect. It's appreciated. Thank you very much for letting us know. We, of course, will pass on this information to Edgewater. I thank you very much for bringing it to our attention.
And just a word. I don't know if what's coming is something you can protect yourselves from. I nearly died 3 times.
Well, I do believe with our numbers bolstered as they are, if you were able to slay such a beast by yourself,
I wasn't by myself.
Oh, how many were in your party?
2 druids and Coral.
Perfect. Interesting. It's odd companion, but understood. This has been very odd on our meetings as they are. So, perfect. Well, we are over 100 strong now with just soldiers. So, as long as Edgewater continues to lend their support, and possibly if the dwarves will as well, we are quite the trading hub for them. So, I would imagine they would be well intended to keep us safe if need be arised. However, the threat does seem a distance. You said some ways off into the mountains.
Apparently.
Okay, perfect. Because you had traveled some time, so interesting.
Well, that was from where I took a teleporter to. I'm not too sure where that started from, but it was 3 days ride. Well,
Perfect.
1 day's walk, 1.5 days ride.
Okay. Well, I will certainly take everything under advisement, and again, we appreciate your services. And he kind of like expectantly like looks at you as if like, okay, you gonna pick this up and leave? Kind of is like giving you that type of look.
I
a nervous smile.
I look at his glass of brandy. How much is left?
Make a perception check. It actually wouldn't even be that. I'm stupid. Just
gonna
roll a
say, I'm
d20
looking
because
at
I
the
want to
table.
see if
Yeah.
I want to see. I want to do a
10.
thing. Roll a d20.
Roll a 10.
Okay,
It's a roll-off.
and then he's holding it kind of by the base of it, but about halfway full, you'd guess, based on where he's holding it.
Okay.
He didn't drink much, but did drink some.
Okay. Farewell. I just wanted to make sure he wasn't like
Farewell.
getting too liquored up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this actually works out in the favor of what you were hoping for.
Right. Yeah.
Because he had not even finished the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you strap back up, dragon head. Coral
Coral, help me with the
Coral
strap.
does what she can do to grab the strap and kind of runs the strap up your back and then jumps down and like swings on it to kind of loop it around to your hand. It's surprisingly deft and skillful. You're just like, oh, perfect. Hey, oh, okay, perfect, wonderful. This is working out. And you now have the dragon back on your back, and Coral kind of like, it's starting to kind of stink a bit. It's
Only one more stop. I'm sure we'll be fit through with this by the time we're done here.
okay. Where to now?
No, the dilapidated shack at the edge of the city.
Ooh, wonderful. Sounds like home.
Someone's home.
She kind of gets the tone in your voice and like, okay, and then just prepares for the ride.
Just know that the person that we're about to talk to is to be revered and respected. You will not speak unless directly spoken to. Like, this is like while I'm walking.
Yeah. And she like initially just like puts on her most respectable stance, and then kind of shoulders drop a little bit at that
Be
statement.
relaxed about it. But
She tries intentionally
this
to
is a
relax.
being of power that you can't comprehend. That I can't comprehend.
Understood.
Okay.
She looks
So we're on our way over.
and you head over to Morelius.
Yeah.
While all this was happening, it's the day has kind of gone on. It was about midday when he arrived at the town. You have continued northward for a few hours. Do a perception check for me.
Sure. That's better. That was a 19, so it'd be 20. A dirty 20.
Perfect. So you look off to your left into the trees, where like things had kind of cleared by the riverside where you'd been traveling. Looks like people do sometimes travel up this space. There's a very small like footpath there that you've been taking. Still unfamiliar with the space. However, when you look off to your left, it's kind of in like this shadowed space where some pines are growing. You see first 1, and then 2, and then 3 black wolves step out of the shadows, kind of eyeing you. And you are, how far away from them? Okay. So they are about 15 feet away from you. So they are close enough for you to kind of catch this glint of purple in their eyes. And one of them, the one in the center, it's slightly larger than the other two. Just
I recognize that
this
purple
kind of
glow.
snarlish noise to you, but does intend to get your attention. How will you interact with this situation?
If you are who I think you are, I have you to thank for me being here now.
And then it kind of looks at you, turns its head, and then kind of like turns around and starts walking away.
I don't know how to speak animal.
The other two kind of look at you and like tilt their heads like towards each other, and then start walking away. One of which takes this big loop to where they're kind of going like back the way you came, and then the larger one, as it kind of starts to head back into the forest here, looks back at you.
Got it, Lassie. Okay,
And
I'm
then
coming.
slowly walks off again.
Maze will slowly follow and keep a distance.
Perfect. After traveling in through the woods here, which are surprisingly thick even on this side, you are led through by these wolves. They give you kind of a clear path to follow. You come to a spot where it starts to clear again, and as you step through the trees, you look around and they're gone. But in front of you, there is a road, a well-made road. You see that it is perfectly like laser straight, heading to the north and to the south. And as you kind of glance around, wondering where they've gone, you look around, you see nothing. You glance up momentarily, and there is a black raven just kind of flying. It circles 3 times above you, then shoots down, and then curves off right above you to where the wind, as it catches its wings and flies over your head, kind of messes your hair up a little bit. As you go to kind of correct your hair that has now fallen into your face, you feel your horns. And you continue to feel your horns.
Oh no.
And realize that they now stretch back to the full length of your skull. So instead, where you once had these little nubs in the front, they have now come in almost this full state in front of you and kind of began to come back towards the back of your head. They're only the length of the top of your head. So they do theoretically still have the potential to grow, but they absolutely stand out now.
Can't hide this.
Even under a hood, it would be noticeable that there's something going on there. The raven, though, does fly back down to the south as well, kind of beckoning you in some way.
Maze just screams, "All right, universe, I get it. I'll go south. Fine."
I'll go south, okay?
So she kicks a rock and starts walking south.
And as you travel on for about an hour or so, you hear this kind of sound behind you. You glance back, and there is a dwarf on a cart being pulled by a large horse that is significantly large for a dwarven situation, and it's very, very fast. Just, and as it kind of comes closer to you, you get this sense of fear, and you make a dexterity roll for me.
We know that's not my strong suit.
I know.
That was a 16 plus 1, so 17.
Perfect. So you actually do manage to jump right aside. However, you didn't need to, because as it comes to exactly where you were, in a cloud of dust, just there's just dust rolling past you. You're coughing a little bit in the dust itself, and as it settles, you look up to the seat, confused and bewildered at what's going on. And sitting up there is a burly, fat dwarf. shoulders and arms burly, but a big gut in front of him.
No, my
his
kind of
legs,
man. No.
his legs sticking out just right in front of him, not able to like curve down and touch the ground, or not the ground obviously, but not the footboard of this wagon.
I just picture he needs to stack a few bricks to reach the
Right.
pedals. Got it.
And you do see that there are little like ladders built into the side of it that turn down into like rope ladders as they come to the base, so they can kind of bounce along.
Quite crafty.
And he glances over, and this is the first time you would have seen any form of sunglasses. He has these large, square, dark-tinted glass pieces strapped to the side of his face, like goggles. And he's wearing a large-brimmed, almost like wizard's hat-looking situation.
Okay.
It's pointed top, kind of tilted back, crooked a little bit. He has this massively long white beard with little kind of streaks of like a deeper gray or black to the center piece of it. He looks down at you. Well, hello.
Hello to you.
What are you doing on the road?
Following animals, it seems.
You should have them give you a ride.
You know, I didn't think of that. They didn't look too friendly. Nothing has been friendly here.
Nothing's friendly in these parts at all, except for me.
You are the first.
It seems. Wait, would you like a ride? Where are you headed?
I do appreciate it. There is a village that, I don't know how far it is because I really don't know where I'm at. There's a mayor that I need to talk to, and I need to get back there. Are you aware of this?
You're talking to Feldar, for
Yes.
sure. I'll hop on here. That's where I'm headed.
I appreciate it.
Got a little bit of moonstone here in the back, and it's a few other items. We'll be heading that way.
What do I owe you, good sir?
Just some time. Just some time. We'll talk on our way. And then you get up, and he immediately, before you can even get seated, and this horse just launches off. Like, and you guys are booking it down this way.
Man.
And this crazy old man, dust flying up in your face. You're having to like pull your shirt up over your face to kind of keep the dust from getting in your eyes and your mouth. And you do actually pass the raven. You kind of at one point look up just to see if you can see where this is, and you just, and it kind of, when it just ducks down in the trees. Kael. You come up to the familiar house. You knock on the door, I assume. It opens.
Best behavior now, Coral.
Right.
And I walk in. Walk up to the table that we were at before. It's still bigger on the inside.
Yep.
Look around.
And Coral kind of like, whoa. Like she was about to throw up for a second, and then gathers herself.
Right,
She
the
kind of
seat's the
mumbles
lady
under
of
her breath.
night.
You hear nothing. You see nothing for a moment, and then roll perception for me. It's perception night.
12.
12. Suddenly you feel something across your feet. It kind of moves over one foot and then the next. You feel it kind of wrap around one leg, cross back beneath you, and you hear this kind of sliding sound. You look down, and wrapped around your left leg with the rest of it kind of trailing over your right foot, there's a massive boa constrictor, the one that you had previously seen in this space.
Yeah, so I'm not immediately off put because I too am scaly. So I just kind of try to gently pet, stroke, just but slowly.
Kind of like does what snakes do when you try to pet them. It kind of like looks at you and like makes these, you see his eyes kind of flash a little bit, like it might strike, but you steady your hand and continue to outreach it, and then do kind of stroke across the back of its head, to which it kind of lowers its head down a little bit, and you feel the grip that had slightly started to tense up on your leg loosen, and the snake does kind of, and slowly makes its way
like
to
goes
wrap back around
down.
the
The other side.
Yep. So feel a little bit safer now that you're not in its coils. You look around and you're kind of surprised not to see Morelia.
No trace.
She's not there at all. And you do see the three black cats that are there as well.
Okay.
One of which jumps up into your lap. The other kind of walks across the mantle of the fireplace, just watching you. And then the one that's behind the dresser on the far side looks around, sits back, kind of licking its paw and
Can I...
waiting.
Would Morelia qualify as a celestial or something?
What's your goal?
I want to see if she's disguised as one of these animals.
Yeah, you can try that.
Oh wait, no, it's not a roll.
You have a detection thing?
Oh, yeah. Cast. I cast detect evil and good.
Okay. And I will click on that to refresh myself specifically. Detect evil and good. Which is, for the duration, you know if there is an aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of you, as well as where the creature is located. Similarly, you know if there is a place or object within 30 feet of you that has been magically consecrated or desecrated. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, a thin sheet of lead, or 3 feet of wood or dirt. So you immediately are just overwhelmed in this space. The whole space almost seems to light up and glow with this pinkish like energy that just blinds you. And you have to kind of like, and you let the spell drop, and as everything kind of fades, it almost fades in portions. So the actual space itself kind of goes back to its dark wooded interior. You notice that all of the leaves on the trees are still brightly glowing. The tree itself is emanating this kind of energy to it.
Really got to start practicing that.
All of the creatures give off a symbol.
Powers and I haven't practiced with them at all.
Yeah. And you look down though, as everything else fades.
Turn the knob down a little bit.
Right. You look down and you notice that for a brief moment your hands glow in this gold yellow, and you kind of look closer and then it just looks like your hands. And you're like, what was that? And then you hear a little bit of shuffling from the stairs, a little creak. Well, welcome back, dragon. It's good to see you. And that is where we'll take our break. So
I will not be correcting her.
yeah. She's not the one to correct. So
calls me a dragon. I'm a dragon.
Right, exactly. So we do have our giveaway, and I think that I want to say it's perception, but I'm not going to make the word that difficult to type. We're just going to make it dragon, and so yeah. So go ahead and type in the word dragon into the chat, and those of you that enter in will have an opportunity to win this set of ruby red glitter gold dice and your choice of t-shirt or 3/4 sleeve shirt from our website. As always, we do have a bonus for anyone who is a subscriber of the channel. We want to make sure that anybody can get in on it, so we make it available for everybody. But subscribers do actually get 3 extra entries into all of our giveaways, both the weekly ones and the overall big monthly ones that we've got coming up. So if you have a Twitch Prime subscription available, now would be a great time to use that free sub. And if you don't know anything about that, go to twitch.tv/prime real quick while we're on our break, and we will see you back here very shortly. And we're back. Thank you guys, all of you, for being so incredibly positive in our chat. You guys are fantastic. We love every single one of you that are hanging out here watching us every single week, and those of you that are super positive and always posting stuff in the chat. I really do appreciate that. I just wanted to take a second to make sure we put that out there to you guys, just to show our appreciation. Another variant of showing our appreciation is these giveaways that we do. Every single week we do at least a dice giveaway. Sometimes we add a little extra stuff, and we've also got something that I'm still teasing that will be announced on specific date. I will tell you right now is the 24th of this month. So not next week, but the week after that, we're gonna tell you about something really cool that we're doing with our first like official partner. So definitely stay tuned for that. It's really cool news and a really cool prize that we're going to be giving away. So definitely you'll want to be keeping up with us throughout the next couple of weeks and then into next month for sure. Gives you a little bit of time to catch up on everything. So at that, our winner for tonight's giveaway, if you haven't entered yet, the code word is Dragon. You've got about 3 seconds to get that entered by the time the Twitch delay and me kind of just delaying myself here a little bit gives you enough time to enter. So it is the Glitter Ruby Red and Gold dice set, along with a Roll This shirt of your choosing, either in the 3/4 length or t-shirt variants on our website, which is shop.rollthis.com. If you don't happen to win, you want one. So tonight's winner is, where's my mouse at? Tyrael, which I love that name. And you have won this set of dice along with a shirt. So I will be contacting you and verifying which shirt and size and colors and all that stuff that you would like to have, and getting a set of dice to you as well. So thank you everybody for entering, and we will have another dice giveaway next week as well. Or shirt or something. I don't know. You guys let us know. What do you want? You want shirts or dice? We've been doing dice for a while. We've got a great local shop that we get them from at Tabletop Game and Hobby in Overland Park, Kansas. If you're in Kansas, go there and buy your D&D stuff because they're wonderful people and they have awesome stuff and a huge selection. So, but if you guys want shirts from us, we could throw those in too. So definitely let us know either just in Discord or in the chat right now. I know we've got at least one moderator in there that can kind of keep a little bit of track of what you guys all say. But to get back to our story now. So, Kael, you are in Morelia's and have just been greeted. You, Maze, are now riding along at breakneck pace in the back of this cart.
It's got some horsepower on it.
Is full of God.
You missed me. I know.
That is full of these odd trinkets and items. This moonstone is all kind of piled up in these visible boxes, open boxes, along with a bunch of covered things that you're not quite sure what exactly would be in there.
Because you like shiny.
You do catch roll a perception check for me again, just to keep our theme of obnoxious amount of perception checks.
Ew, that's a 1.
Okay, so
I'm just like, man, it's just so, the
the dust is getting into your eyes so bad. Yeah. Get those ones out of the way now, better this episode than the next one. But so the dust gets into your eyes and you kind of glance back and you just all you see are these white glistening kind of rainbow stones. And you kind of look back and he's just like catches that you were looking at his wares. Definitely does catch it. What do you think there? You like that stuff?
It's very impressive and shiny. Did you get all this yourself?
Of course I did.
You're amazing.
Whew, let's go! Yeah! And he's like yelling at this horse, and he's like just gripping white-knuckled on these reins. And you guys are barreling up, and now you see the city of Feldar up in front of you.
This horse is a natural.
And the gates are opened, but as you guys approach, and this crazed dwarf just continuing and yelling along as he rides, he comes up, and you see the guards kind of lower their halberds like, what is going on here? We were called here to guard this place. The archers above kind of all pull their bows out, And then suddenly you see one of the town guards running up. No, down, hold back. And the horse comes up and goes to stop, but it stops directly in front of one of the soldiers on the ground and rears up like it's going to throw its hooves at it. And as it does, it kind of comes back, and you've got, whoa, hey, no killing today, buddy. No killing today. Just calm down now. And the horse is like, and you notice that the reason this horse is so large is you kind of process the concept of this massive beast. It's definitely a war horse. So for some reason, this dwarf has obtained a war horse that he's using to transport his goods to and fro from the mountains. Friend, apologies. They're new here. They're new here. You're welcome in as usual. Come. Join us inside. We will review your goods and get you situated for the evening. And he kind of, this guard runs off nervously to kind of get down the steps and stuff.
The administration of this town are just so high strung.
Yes,
they are just jacked.
I asked him, I'm like, do you get this kind of reception often? I like this guy.
Everywhere. Come on. And the horse kind of like,
the fantasy version of Ross Perot.
and he just like stomps. The horse is just like stomping everywhere that it goes now.
Just making that noise.
Just staring at everybody, just like kind of doing that like tough guy thing of like, doing its chest. This horse is doing this kind of like staring people down. And then you see a small child runs out in front, kind of breaking away from its mother's grasp. And it runs towards the horse that is, making these moves at everyone that looks at it. And it kind of raises its foot right as the child runs in front of it, and it stops. And just slowly lowers its head down, kind of puts it against the child's face, and slowly and gently
This horse is amazing.
pushes it off to the side, back to its mother, who's very cautiously and like tears in her eyes of like, oh my God, my son, and grabs the kid and pulls him back to the side, and the horse then slowly kind of gathers back to its full height and begins continuing on in its aggressive manner.
It's the most amazing horse ever.
Well, you, demon lady or whatever you are, where you be going?
I actually have a house here, but I feel for what I've seen, I need to warn them of what's come, so to the mayor, I guess, for me.
Perfect, well, you'll hop off here then. I'll
appreciate
see you
everything.
around.
If you need healing or anything, or killing, I'm your person.
Wonderful. And he kind of pulls the horse around the curve as you jump off to the side. Make a dexterity save for me.
Oh man, again? 15.
Perfect.
So
it was going to be
16.
like if you roll a 1, you fell in horse crap. If you didn't roll a 1, you're good.
Something to remember and vibe.
you kind of, because you rolled at least a 15 now, you kind of just scamper off, and he like has this glint in his eye and like, farewell! Travels off away, and you are now headed towards the mayor?
The mayor, yeah.
Perfect. So as you approach, there are 2 guards standing by the either side of the door. Kael, what can we do for you?
You may not recognize me. Unfortunately, I have no proof that I've been here before, but I was here with a dragonborn and a druid at one point, and I've come to warn of what we've seen up north.
Yes, the dragonborn was here earlier.
He made it?
Yes. With quite a prize, it would seem. Here, and it's not to talk of it on the street. Come in. I will lead her in. You maintain the watch, and he opens the door slowly and just come in here, and you step inside. You see on one of the tables there's a residue of this kind of blood being washed up with a rag by this old man. He's like, oh, this dragonborn, and just fucking mayor, get him his drink and wash up his blood. Edgar, we have a guest.
Question.
What in the hell are you?
Clearly, it looks like you need some sort of assistance. Probably won't work. I was going to try to cast mending to like make it all like to fix it so it's clean, so he will be a happy man. But unfortunately, it just says it repairs a break or a tear. Doesn't say anything about getting rid of blood. Dang.
Yeah, single break as well, so no.
Yeah, I was hoping to help him out, make him a happy man.
Don't waste the spell slot.
Yeah. Try to help him. Oh, it's a cantrip.
Oh, is it? Okay,
it's
perfect.
not a waste.
Well, just and you you just kind of like sprinkle your hands in the direction of this, and the scrapes.
All the little gaps.
Yeah, like
And
all
the
the
table just,
scrapes
like,
and stuff and
fold up
gaps and
and
everything just
rolls off.
it does. It just kind of like
I just scotch guard
for
it.
the most
Here you
part
go.
it does that. It all kind of comes together and seals everything off. And as he kind of just wipes the last bit off, he's like, "Yeah, maybe you are useful in some way.
You've earned it, sir.
I've only just met, but thank you.
Glad
One moment, I'll go get him." And he walks off.
Don't work, Kael, just
Damn boy was here and
Yes.
does this job. And I'm doing his job for him.
hauling heads into the marathon.
And
I know you got more heads than I do.
a few moments later, the mayor does walk out. Who might I ask are you?
I am Mazakeen. Long ago, I told you, you could call me Maze.
You look different.
Yes, I had a hood and
Oh, the cold
no,
one.
yes, yeah, the one who
Great,
loved leaves.
another of you.
Yeah.
What have you for me?
I've come to warn you, but apparently it sounds like the Dragonborn Kael has warned you. But I was in the city for a few days when they took him, and
What city?
it was an Underdark city.
Where is this place?
Actually, I pull out
this
my
map, and he points to this. Unless you're pulling a map.
No,
out.
I don't have a map, but I pull
Okay.
out my little pass that I actually. Well, would I still have that, or would that be gone? Like,
You
did
would
I
still
just
have
lose
it.
everything?
You actually would still
Because it
have
has
that
the name
you
of the
have
city
all
and
of your
everything.
Stuff. So
I can't
yeah,
remember the name
you
of the city.
technically do have
Yeah,
that.
they didn't Terminator back into the world, okay?
Yeah. No, you do have all of your stuff, so you do have that.
I hand that to him, and I'm like, I
Oh,
fooled them
huh.
into giving me refuge for a few days, and
Interesting. This is.
they have a lot of people.
I don't read this writing, but can you show me here where your travels took you?
And I'll point up north, the cave.
Yeah,
and
because you were
everything.
fully aware of the space. Interesting. That is some days away. It's a little bit close to. Well, I can't tell you what it's close to. Secrecy of the elves and all, but it's between here and Ursil, it appears. But interesting.
They're ruled by a drow elf queen who turns into a really big dragon.
According to your friend, he's carrying her head with him.
They killed her then.
It appeared real to me. It smelled something awful. As you can, I'm sure, still gather, even with the incense burning here. But it was quite a sight to see a
Forgive me for
beheaded dragon head.
she killed me, so
What?
I don't know how to explain it. I remember being chewed on by this queen, but I don't remember much after that.
My kind of night.
Go, right. Sounds like a party to me. Go, just go, all of you.
Do you know where he went to?
I can't even. This. You belong with the old woman, you odd folk.
I shall go to the old woman.
Just go. He walks away. Edgar, I need another drink. You and me both.
As I walk by, I whisper to Edgar, "You get first sip."
I always do. First and last.
My man.
And you exit the building.
Yep.
The
I was gonna
guards.
say, that's probably been the friendliest Maze has been to anyone in her history.
the guards kind of like puzzled as well. Just what is going on in this area? You hear one of them say under his breath. Another that's beside him, I don't know. These are strange times. As you walk through town. To keep theme with our rolls for the evening, roll perception.
Another perception check.
Because perception would be how you hear things.
No, I see one. I'm just.
Did you roll another one?
I rolled another one.
God, thank God we're not in combat in this scenario at this time.
I'm so confused with what dice to use. I haven't used this one.
If you got a different D20,
I do. I have 3 of them.
So you.
I might curse yours.
Yeah, I know.
Remember, I'm cursed.
But
I'm the Will Wheaton of this game.
No.
No touch.
So you scamper through town unawares of anything that
I
may be
wave at
going
the
on
tree as I
around
walk
you.
by the magic glowing tree, like, what's up?
Yeah. You don't notice it changing in any capacity as you pass it.
Yeah, I'm not even going to bother to ask for leaves, jerk.
Right.
I know where to get my leaves now.
Roll dexterity.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the college.
And you know, I am barking up the wrong tree here. A 5, which would be a 6.
Bird crap. Right on your shoulder.
Oh, I can use that.
You look up
actually.
and there's this like sparrow just kind of flutters off and lands into the tree.
I hear that's lucky in the land of Albion, so I will take this and put it in my pouch.
I mean, there are some spells that work alongside this type of stuff.
Yeah, I need crap for it.
You have a little stuff on you and in your pocket now, apparently, because maze is interesting.
No, I didn't eat the good berries.
And
no, I'm gonna smell that for
you make your way continually through town, again, just prancing along as is wont to do, and you come to Morelia's home. Again, the dark Gothic structure kind of looming out of all of these more standard homes. Catch a bit of a wonderful kind of sage smell of like sage smoke that you just kind of wafts through the air, mixed in with some kind of sweet undertones of like a fruit of some kind or something. Kind of draws you in a little bit more, makes you feel even more comfortable and at ease about the place. As you walk up, you don't even have a moment to reach for the door or knock on the door. It just opens in front of you, and you continue stepping through. Again, in the familiar dark interior, and you look down the way and you can see as the door closes behind you, Morelia had just entered into the room. The cat still up on the mantle. The snake that you had seen previously is twisted around Kael's legs and the legs of the table.
So I see Kael.
And you do see Kael sitting there at one side of the table, Morelia making her way to her chair, and then the other chair being directly across from Kael.
At the sight of Kael, like Maze in astonishment just drops to her knees.
Okay.
You made it.
This is in the doorway of the space.
Tears, actual tears rain down. Like, I can't believe you actually made it out of there. Where's Bryn? Did he make it? He's just staring. Like, tears.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
should I tell you anything?
That's fair. But I know you don't want to tell me anything. You have no idea what I had to go through. I have no idea what you had to go through.
I think you do have a bit of an idea of what I had to go through.
A bit, yes, I understand. There's going to be no explanation for... I mean, I'll tell you the truth, because that's seems the only thing that will work for you, and you probably won't believe me. I stabbed you because I went through a portal trying to save you. Bryn missed. We tried to get you, and I couldn't fight him on my own, so I had to fool him. And so the only way I had to prove that I was one of them, I stabbed you in the chest with my necrotic damage, and it didn't kill you. I was so thankful.
I rolled an insight check, and it's a total of 20.
Oh, yeah. That's true, I would say.
It's 100% true.
I had to fool him because they were taking you.
Stop.
And she's still just crying.
Right, yeah.
And Morelia in this moment is just silently, like seriously silent, like her footsteps make no noise, and she's just gathering and repouring some tea, as she did previously.
Coral, come here.
She kind of glances
I
at
wouldn't know.
Morelia, glances at Maze. Looks at you.
What do you think of her?
And she's just there crying still.
Seems sad to me.
Me too. Apology tentatively accepted. There's a lot that you've got to prove to me.
I understand that. Where's Bryn? Did he make it?
Unfortunately, he decided to live out the rest of his days in the woods.
Oh, he's alive too.
That was a good one. That was
And she
good
just
one.
like slings like, ah.
Good wording.
So, yes, Bryn's fine. Got this cool medallion.
Well, shiny.
Woodallion?
Would it be? Is it wood?
Both.
Partially.
And she wipes
So,
her
and
tears.
he pulls out this medallion that is the same gold symbol you'd been used to seeing him pull out and hold each morning. And now it has this dark wood infused around it with this strange script written along the edges. And it seems very natural, almost as if it grew into that place.
It's similar to. Would it be the ring that we saw? Like the vision of a wooden ring we saw? Like that same kind of wood look?
Same color.
Same color? Same kind of wood? Nice.
Same, probably the same material,
Mm-hmm.
but not visually the same. Because this is, it is rough and around the edges and stuff, but it is more of a carved amulet type of piece, as opposed to where that was more of a growth. It was vines intertwining around a emerald, whereas this is more of like a flat piece of wood that the metal has been set into, is almost kind of how it seems. But
It's similar to what I've seen him carry, just different material.
yeah, it just has this extra
like your holy
piece.
symbol,
Like,
just
around
gotta
it.
upgrade.
Imagine if you like placed a medallion like up against a tree and held it there for years.
Okay.
Yeah, and it kind of grew around it. Yeah, that's
Okay.
so it's
And
like
then you just cut it out.
like that.
And then make an annual out of that. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, this is yours. And I pull out the pouch of your money that I've been holding on to. And
That's right.
everything's still there.
Forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, I've been holding on to that.
Perhaps you are trustworthy after all.
And within there is all of your gold that you had, along with the 3 rubies that you had retrieved. Now, we didn't go in moment with this to verify, but did you retrieve the spear, the naginata, from the cell when you left? Because you had it when you entered, but did you retrieve
No.
it before you left?
No.
Okay, perfect. Just wanted to verify
I
that.
didn't.
Oh, if you had that.
Mhm. And you never would have seen it because it was
No,
down
I
there.
never went there,
And
yeah.
It was too much.
Yep.
I got like the stuff, like my gear, my
Yep.
issued gear that I'm used to running around in.
Mhm.
I don't want to have another thing.
perfect. I just wanted to verify that for sure.
Like, you
Right.
picked that
Um,
one. No.
Right.
And-
that moves itself.
That moves itself. And Coral's just sitting there.
You've got a little friend.
Squire, actually. Yeah.
Oh, well,
And she kind of
greetings,
stands up on his
Squire.
shoulders, and
Yeah. Maze does a proper bow. Greetings.
she kind of like doesn't know if she's supposed to bow back, so she like stops and then kind of looks around and like bows and stiffly and
Yeah,
then stands
kind of
back
like-
up.
I kind of like just nod and yes, go.
You seem vaguely familiar, young squire. Where were you from?
I am somewhere.
You
In
you
the
two-
mountains.
You two met momentarily before your departure.
The battle. So she's the brave one who went after the queen
Well,
and
yes.
defeated her, right?
She
From
grabs
what I
it,
hear.
like not recognizing the room anymore.
Yeah.
She grabs the knife and like,
That's her. Yes.
Coral. Coral.
sorry. And she looks at Morelli. So sorry. Who is now like resting the tea in front of each of you and then setting one for herself. And she looks at Coral, and she kind of like just reaches into like her robes and pulls out an extremely small, like little tiny goblin sized.
Just a nail file.
No, it's another teacup, but it is
Oh,
like a
teacup.
thimble basically.
Oh, an espresso
And
shot. Gotcha.
yeah, exactly, more like an espresso scenario, but it is exactly the same as the other ornately antique silver carved
Kael would
ones.
be even smaller.
And
Yes,
she
you're
kind
like-
of pours it in there as well,
Like the Hulk
and
with the tacos.
And yes.
holds it up to Coral. Coral like reaches for it, and Morelia kind of pulls it back for a moment, raises an eyebrow, and then just floats it over to her.
Ooh.
Coral's eyes get bigger than you've ever seen them. They already cover most of her face.
Coral, what do we say? No, I never taught you this. We say thank you.
Thank you.
And Maze sees Marilia.
Kind of like burns her mouth a little bit.
Liquids. Maze sees Marilla and just runs and drops to her feet, just like grabs on and just thank you so much, thank you.
Stand up, stand up. There's no need for that. You asked, and I felt like you might need it. As you know, I have the ability to see many things, so
I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you.
you're welcome. Unfortunately, I won't be able to bestow the same boon again, but
Once is enough for me.
I would hope so. Yeah, have a seat, have a seat.
Maze sits.
And Marilia is now in her preferred humanoid form. She is the beautiful,
Okay, the young version.
pale-skinned, young, maybe young in the sense of like maybe about 30-ish.
Oh, compared to the first
But compared
version we
to
met.
the
Compared to
elderly
crone.
woman, crone type of appearance, she's in her early 30s at best at this point, appearance-wise. Her actual age, you do not know.
She's like an elf.
And her eyes are still that bright flash of kind of a deep reddish purple. She looks to both of you. It's quite an adventure you two went on.
I would say yes.
And your friend, it is good for him to have stayed in the forest. This place needs him, and you're both needed elsewhere. I have been continuing to delve into what's happening in the world. The Blades are still marching. They have finished their marshal. Very few are left in the outposts amongst the cities. They are kept just for standard guardship, as you would be used to having in much smaller numbers, only a few in each space.
You see any messengers come by the house?
This is DM asking player. Remind me of what exactly you did,
sent
because
a
I
letter
remember
to
you
her.
did the thing.
Yeah.
So please explain it again for me.
So, I know that I passed on the message to.
Oh, it was.
I've been reporting.
It
Back
was your
pretty much-
report that you sent back to her to be sent on, right?
Right, and then there's
Perfect.
there was also the first report from like the first adventure we had.
Yeah. Oh, that
So-
you had instructed to be delivered here.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So then back into game.
Mhm.
Yes, I received your letter, your report, and did in fact send it on to the garrison at Edgewater. I have not received anything back on that. However, they did send. They sent out information regarding the marshalling. They said the work you're doing is good here. It does benefit the service of the Blades. However, they mentioned, not encouraged it didn't seem, but mentioned that there was the marshalling, and that if word came to you and you were in the area to do so, they would hope for you to join in and at least meet with some of the leaders to discuss what your role could be in this. I, however, think that, and of course, this is at your discretion, I do think that you would be better served to venture into the mountains again. Your dwarven friends could definitely use the aid of one of your skill. And I'm aware of your dreams. That forge is not in the south. It's in the north. Far north. It is where you... And as she says the word you kind of get this like blurred vision, like and a bit of a headache almost for a moment, then it fades. Are originally from, brother. However, it is of course up to you, but if you wish to fulfill your dreams, I would encourage a northward travel. You, Maze, revealing who you are to the Underdark City was a great risk. Word has left that you are alive. It has not reached your family, however, I cannot interfere with it either. But the word is traveling, and I fear you won't be able to catch up to it. But what you have done is a great thing, however gruesome it is, and she kind of looks over your shoulder.
Thought you might want to know more about this.
She is dead.
And before it touches the ground of anything, it just starts floating.
Right.
And this is the size of Kael's torso, this dragon head.
Oh, I'm familiar with that.
Large enough for you to fit inside.
Yeah.
This sense of fear like kind of comes over you. Make a constitution check for me, Maze.
Add 2 to it.
And because you are within 10 feet of him.
See, they're 13. My, it'd be 15 with my +2.
Okay, well then,
Yeah,
9, and then 17.
17.
Okay.
So you kind of feel lightheaded for a moment seeing this, and you grip the edge of the table, and then you kind of like, no, it's dead. And then you come back, but seeing it float and kind of turn on its own apparently
That was the last thing I saw.
was quite a bit for you. And you felt kind of your heart begin to race and a bit of shortness of breath take hold. And then you both watch as all of the flesh surrounding the skull, the still remaining eyes, all of it just starts to fizzle and fade. And there's this energy, kind of a sparkling purplish energy that echoes through it. And then a small flash of, like, the whole thing flashes, and the scales lift off and then fade into smoke and rapidly shoot over towards the fireplace and then through the chimney. And now what remains is quite a large, wow, I don't know what that whistle thing was. The large skull, but is perfectly cleansed of any decay that was remaining on it, and it is now just the skull and the horns and the fangs with empty eye sockets, and it is perfectly washed clean. She then lets it rest down onto the table sitting in front of her.
Now, if I may be bold, is there anything we need to ask her? The recent queen.
Well,
that you killed?
the late queen
Yes,
was a dragon.
I learned that one.
She's a dragon.
Yes. You're a dragon.
No. Well,
Sort of.
she says so, but if you say though, then I'm not.
Okay.
You don't get that. That's our word.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
Morelia kind of like rolls her eyes and shakes her head a little bit. Like, nice to see the two of you back to where you were.
I can speak with Dad. So I don't know if there's something we need to...
No, ask that dragon? Why don't we ask that one?
I mean, we could get it straight from the source if Morelia doesn't know.
Well, not really.
I do not know all. I know much, but I don't know all. I don't know the inner workings of one's minds of my kin like this.
Did you know who this one was related to? Who it was born of?
She was one of the first that aligned with my brother. I've not seen her for many years. did not anticipate she would have taken this form, though it does seem now a reasonable course of action. She was in some capacity a captain among those that served Guthak, and to gather more forces, I could imagine that she would take over a city as she has done. The Underdark Drow are more easily swayed to their ways than those above ground. Both your roll perception check.
That was a good
16.
one. 5.
Kael, you notice that she kind of like nods towards the empty chair as she says that, and then she continues on. I would think that your skills might be of service here, as it would give a strong insight to the mind of the enemy in this land.
So I will go ahead and cast Speak with Dead, which, with communication, if I remember correctly, gives us 5 questions to ask. Let's see. Just reading through it.
You grant the semblance of life and intelligence to a corpse of your choice within range, allowing it to answer the questions you pose. The corpse must still have a mouth and can't be undead. The spell fails if the corpse was the target of this spell within the last 10 days. Until the spell ends, you can ask the corpse up to 5 questions. The corpse knows only what it knew in life, including the languages it knew. Answers are usually brief, cryptic, or repetitive, and the corpse is under no compulsion to offer a truthful answer if you are hostile to it or it recognizes you as an enemy. This spell doesn't return the creature's soul to its body, only its animating spirit. Thus, the corpse can't learn new information, doesn't comprehend anything that has happened since it died, and can't speculate about future events.
Okay. I'll try it and we'll see what we get.
Okay.
Okay, so cast Speak with Dead.
Okay, so you raise your hands out towards the skull and focus your energy. And taking a breath to steady yourself. This blackened energy mixed with kind of a green tint to it flows from Maze's hands. Morelia kind of moves back just a hair. You notice your eyes are closed. You notice this, Kael. She kind of readies herself a little bit. The momentarily as the energy touches the skull, you see the green energy flashes into these images of dragon skulls and human skulls and everything as it kind of takes hold. It begins to kind of etch these runes into the top of the skull and the side, and then there's this green glow from the eye sockets. The head then floats up a couple of inches off the ground and turns and looks directly at Maze.
My eyes would be open.
And then you feel your spells take hold. You open your eyes tentatively, staring face into the dragon skull.
What is the nature of your people now that they have no ruler?
They are not without a ruler. There are others to take my place.
Do you have anything you need to ask for? And they can hear this, right?
Yeah, it responds as if it's awake and alive.
I ask in Draconic. Tell me of the land of your father.
Maze would not understand this.
You don't know Draconic?
I do not know.
Okay. So you hear this strange language. Morelia kind of looks at Kael and smiles slightly. And the head, however, continues staring silently at you. The spell is she has to ask.
Yeah.
So you've asked something and you heard him say something and the skull didn't respond.
Apparently, I must be the one to say it.
Ask about her father's lands and armies.
What do you know of your father's lands and armies?
Is there gold in the village? Gems? Where is Lord Dondarian?
So, the response takes some time. You can see almost as if it's processing. And this gives you the feeling that you're not sure if there's honesty in these words.
Insight, check the skull.
And you will be able to do so.
Oh, guys, that's really a thing.
So, the response that you get is, our lands are everywhere. And they spread by the day. We are the true rulers of this realm. And you will bow to us eventually.
But you're dead, though.
Mm-hmm. Right, again, it thinks it's alive. It's like back to its own thing.
So I'd
I
like
rolled
to
a
try
9,
to
so-
insight check it. It's
Hey,
nat
nat
20.
It's about time.
I know,
She
finally.
got it when it
Yeah,
counts.
so you do feel that the statement she is making is in her mind a true statement.
Okay.
As she sees it, that is the truth.
She truly believes this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 3 more.
Oh, yeah, 3 more.
It's difficult when you have to
It
actually
is tough,
pull in
yeah.
5, right?
I'm holding fingers underneath here.
Next step. What's the next step?
Holding fingers, pulls up and she's got a bag of fingers.
It's like,
What's the next step?
is that your question?
I mean,
It's pretty vague.
okay, like, what was she gonna do with Drow?
Gotcha.
What was her plan?
What did you intend to do with your Underdark city? Were you going to stay there forever or eventually evade? Invade. I said invade.
Evade.
Yeah.
Constantly evading.
Being
Evade your
underground's pretty
question.
good at evading.
It's good tea.
Right, yeah.
It's just really good.
So-
Yeah.
My orders come from the shadow. Will rule this land. I await his command.
Marilia, is there anything you need to ask your fallen
Niece.
niece here? Or is it like, wait, what's wrong with this?
She kind of gives that
She's
same like raised eyebrow. your
spoken in
knowledge on
years.
the subject is interesting, as a word.
Yes.
No, I do believe I know all I need to know from this one.
Okay.
Is the father the shadow?
Yeah.
So,
That's a good one. Is your father the shadow?
No.
What would we know if we asked this? I know.
Last one.
I know, last one I was like, she's not going to reveal how you defeat the shadow.
what is the average carrying capacity?
Where I know the shadow wants to take over all, and does it a bit at a time. What is the shadow's influence in the east? At forgive me, Kashat?
Kazesh.
Kazesh.
Interesting for you to ask of Kazesh. Shadow has taken hold there. Kazesh is fallen. And as it says that, it slowly rests down to the table. The energy leaves it. However, the carved in infernal looking runes that appeared do remain. Similar to what you would see on like a carved deer skull, like a Viking skull type of thing.
I know what that looks like.
Yeah, very similar to that. All along the forehead of it and then down on each side. And that remains.
No. She just like says no.
Well, what did you expect? She was dead.
It's true. Maybe it's not true. Maybe Kazesh could be saved.
That which has fallen can always be picked up.
We never die.
Indeed.
You know, what is dead?
Never die. I know, that's what I was just thinking.
Well, I appreciate you passing on the message for me.
Of course.
I appreciate the advice of going north. Nazakine, if you would like, you can accompany me and Coral north to the mountains.
I have a friend now there. I would like to join you.
Okay.
As you struggle to invite Maze along, and Maze agrees, Morelia kind of laughs a little bit, and then you hear, good choice to the both of you. And appearing in the same relaxed, calm, knowing demeanor that you previously met him is your white-robed drow friend.
Ah.
The one that had initiated all of this. He is
Hi.
tapping his fingers across the table.
He's good at that.
I see that you've had quite a time since our initial communication. I must ask, though, heading north is indeed a good plan. The dwarves do need your help, but upon completing your task there, I beg that you head east, along the northern edge of the Cloud Spires. Things go ill in Kazesh, as you know, but I fear there's something dark at work in Ursil. The old king there is ailing, and the town has darkened. Once a beacon in the north, it is now a grey and grim shadow of what it once was. I cannot enter that city at this time. Something shrouds it, as Morelli and I were discussing before our friend here arrived. It is troubling indeed, though I do believe that the three, and he specifically looks at Coral, of you, will be well equipped for investigating what may or may not be happening there and why Ursil has been cut off. If you survive these trials, come meet me in the Everdark.
Quick question.
Yes.
Are you a dragon?
No. Unfortunately, I'm not.
Been meeting a lot of those lately.
As have I. It is nice to see them returning to the world. And he looks directly at Morelia. Kind of a slight smile. Farewell for now, and good luck in your travels. I look forward to meeting you in person. And he fades into this kind of grey fog that dissipates.
Again!
No wonder he didn't want to eat anything in the house.
He just astral projects everywhere. It's cheating.
And you do hear again this laughter in your ears as you say that.
I just picture him.
And then it just kind of everything is gone, and you are left sitting there with Morelia, Coral still drinking her tea.
It's like a
looks
Capri Sun
around.
packet.
Yes.
She looks into it.
I think good stuff, right?
She looks at Morelia and then looks back down nope, not gonna ask. And then you see her eyes get really big again. Maze, you see this. Coral, you kind of, or Kael, you kind of feel her shake a little bit on your shoulder. She looks back up at Morelia and then like starts drinking again as her cup has refilled.
Easy on the tea. We don't need. No, you don't need too much caffeine.
It's good.
It's very
She kind of like tries to listen to you, but like wants to drink it again.
Yeah.
She's drinking it very slowly now. Well, it seems your path is set before you.
Mhm.
Is there anything you need from me?
You've given me so much already.
You mentioned a forge.
Yes.
So where the dwarves live? Was it elsewhere?
It's an ancient forge. You will begin to learn more the closer you get to it. It is a seat of power that will become more recognizable the closer you come.
Does this have to do with my destiny?
If you've chosen that destiny, then yes. I feel his presence strong with you, Kael and Maze. He is trying to come back.
Why does he have to come back? Why can't he just come back in his own body?
We don't have the ability to manifest in that manner anymore without having a host. We can transform the host, as you see. And her hand kind of turns draconic for a moment and then back to human. However, our true forms are based in spirit. The bodies we accompany are not who we are. We are something else. However, these forms are the most useful that we can take on. And so we have, for many, many millennia, chosen those forms.
Set my jaw. Right.
Our spirit is strong, Kael and Maze. I do not think it will be overcome. Koro respects you. He will not force his way in.
I've made my decision.
Understood?
Right north.
Perfect.
Marilia, you are all knowing and seeing. Do you know of anything that we may need from you to help with our journey?
Aside from what I gave you previously, all I can help with is guidance. Any questions you have, or specific things that you can think of. I have multiple wares of items, but it depends on what you feel you need. I can see much, however, your destinies are now becoming clearer. She looks back to Kael. However, some of what you may accomplish is uncertain.
I appreciate that. I don't want to ask much from you. I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't passing up on something that I needed that would help us.
Trust in each other. Find a way to work together. I believe the duality of your personalities will go quite in hand on the adventure in front of you.
I appreciate that.
I cannot transport you as I once did. Too much of that, and it will reveal me to those that I wish not to be revealed to.
Can't have your agents popping up wherever you need them.
Unfortunately. I recommend taking a rest in your abode and traveling out as soon as you're able.
Shall do that.
Sounds good. It's called a spare cult anyway. I'm just gonna Nudge Coral on the shoulder.
She just looks up at you, smiling. That big, toothy, fang smile. Will you guys be heading out now?
It's time to go.
Perfect. So you guys make your way out of Morelia's, heading off to your abode, which you find, I believe you guys have keys at this point or something like that.
Yeah.
You open it up and everything is pretty much the same as you had left it. There's empty plates on the table. The beds are there. The fire is not lit. You slowly kind of get that going to stave off the slight chill that's come into the room. And both of you bed down as you see fit. And that is where we'll pick things up next week.
Okay.
So wanted to get you guys to like a solid point as opposed to like halfway through a cliffhanger of being in Morelia's or whatever. So sleepy time and then wake up and I don't know, kill each other or something.
I think we're past that.
Yeah, thankfully.
Kelty sleeps with a blade ready at all times. Like,
Actually,
stab backs.
actually, 2 blades.
3 technically now. Well, 4 if you count your sword. So you have.
Wait, you have 4 blades?
Well,
the 2 that Coral is currently carrying
Okay.
that she stole from you / is carrying for you, as she might say.
she's my esquire.
And then the
She's training with
Yeah.
blades of an appropriate length for her.
Yep.
If you're like short sword.
Exactly.
Mace will eventually find a letter opener
And then
and just
you
sharpen
have-
it to give her.
I don't think she'd take it. It'd have to be quite well jewel encrusted or something of that nature. However, she has the 2
The
at her
shiny stuff.
sides, and then you have your knife back in its sheath, you've noticed. And then your great sword along with your warhammer. So,
Oh, the Warhammer. Yeah.
Yep.
It doesn't weigh as
that's
much
the
as
hip.
manacles.
yeah, exactly.
2-pound work.
So,
Yeah.
anyways,
It's all in the
thank you guys for tuning in this week. Appreciate every single one of you, all of you in the chat, all of you with your positive comments. We love seeing that, and it really helps fuel us and keep us going. So thank you very much for that. And we'll see you guys next week, 7 p.m. Central Time, right here on twitch.tv/RoleThis. Adios.